Welcome to Rewire Yourself Rich, the podcast for the woman who's done with temporary bullshit mindset shifts and ready for a full nervous system level identity upgrade. The woman who knows she was born to transform the world with her unique superpowers. I'm your host, Kelly Pender, wealth identity rewiring expert, intuitive mentor, and creator of the Rich Coded Method. In our world, we don't manifest like needy ass bitches. We re-encode the big fucking deal wealthy woman back into yourselves. We shift your DNA to remember who the fuck you are. Ready to become rich coded, getting paid to exist? Let's fucking go. Hello, my big fucking deal. Welcome back to another episode of the Rewire Yourself Rich podcast. We have Pamela Chen on the show today, who is an Akashic Records teacher, magical business mentor, and she is sharing with us how to awaken your most aligned and abundant life. This is for all my magic makers, all my inner witches. This is such a potent, powerful episode. We dive into Wealth Witchery, her brand new book. And of course, she shares a magical spell with us because you know I asked for her to spill the tea and spill all of the magic. And before we dive in, I am very excited on this special 9/9 portal to invite you into our Rich Coded Revolution Summit. This summit is designed to rewire yourself rich to unleash the millionaire movement you were born for. And this isn't another summit filled with recycled affirmations, generic bullshit strategies or templates, or outdated get rich quick overnight bullshit mindset surface level fluff. The Rich Coded Revolution Summit is the portal for spiritual entrepreneurs, intuitive coaches, and industry-leading women ready to collapse time, amplify their wealth identity, and unapologetically lead their millionaire movement in all areas of their lives. And I know you're here because you know that you were never meant to fit inside a box, water down your genius, or play small or censor yourself to fit someone else's definition of success. You were born to trailblaze, disrupt, and build a life and business on your own terms. This is our no-cost summit. Over 2 transformational days, 6 industry-leading speakers, each an expert in their field, will guide you through their magic, their medicine, their solutions that you need that will activate rich in every area of your life to become rich coded. I'm going to drop that link in the show notes for you to save your seat, or you can DM me the word summit. This is more than a summit. It's a movement. It's a portal where you stop chasing strategies that eventually fade and start becoming the woman whose energy, identity, and power magnetically pull money, clients, opportunities, and yes, life experiences to you. Ooh, I can't even wait. I'll see you inside the summit. And without further ado, let's dive into this powerful as fuck episode with Pamela. Amazing. Yes, Pamela, I'm so excited to have you on the show. I love that we met on Instagram and I was just like, I love you. I love your work. I love your energy, your aura. I need you on the podcast. So thank you for being here today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here and I love all that you do and your vibe and your work.
Thank you. Okay, this is going to be so fun. So the one question I ask all my guests is, how did you become an Akashic Records teacher, manifestation coach, and magical business mentor? How did this start? How did you say yes to your soul purpose and body of work?
So I think what started me on a spiritual journey was actually not really spiritual because it was really for the self. I was struggling really hard with money because I moved out at a very young age, around the age of 16, and I needed money to live.
Yep.
And something big happened in my life where I think it was my car broke down and I just went into like a doom spiral of how I can't get to work, then I won't have more money, then I can't get to work. And I used to go to a lot of psychics at that time. I believed in magic. I knew there was more, but I didn't do any. And so she was like, we can do a spell for that, a money spell. And I'm like, what? You can use magic to manifest? This is like maybe 2003. So I didn't know, this wasn't on the internet. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And literally the next week, the same amount of money that I needed came in through a check from my old job that I didn't even know I had. And yeah, that was like my awakening, right? I'm sure you remembered, or the audience remembers their awakening. And I was just like, I can use magic to create a better life for me. And so that's how I got started on this journey. I never felt energy. I didn't know anything. I wasn't taught anything. Everything was through a mentor taking programs. I just
Mhm.
remember I moved to Las Vegas from Hawaii when I was 20. And I
Okay.
went to this holistic fair. I was called to go. And there's a bunch of ladies at this table where they sell crystal bracelets. And they
Mhm.
were like, it feels so good, the energy. And I was like, I want to feel it too. So I went and I picked one up and I was like, I don't feel anything. And so I was like, okay. And that in that fair was also the first time I met my Reiki master teacher, my psychic development teacher. And
Mhm.
she's a sweet English lady. And she's like, you need to work with me. I'm like, okay, I'm down. And from there, I just kind of was interested to learn more. And I met my Akashic teacher, Parana Fleming, who already has passed, but she opened up this new world in the Akashic records. And I just kind of dove deep into what felt really good for me. And I started with the magic, the spells, the rituals, and obviously it worked. And it just kind
Yeah.
of built up to where I am today.
Mm, I love this so much. And I want to highlight how you said I dove into what felt really good for me. And I know that that's key because so many of us are like, well, I should do this and I was told to do
Yeah.
this. And there's so much magic out there in or so many different forms and it's like I think that we can get overwhelmed with what path to take and it's truly what's unique to you and what's calling to you. And I love that. And like I said before we hit record, I'm like, girl, like witchery, magic, spells, all of this is speaking to me because I started doing spells when I was 9.
Mhm.
And I had this like kids spell book, and that was just the coolest thing. And then, I would go out in the woods and like do spells and bury it under the trees and whatnot. And I know that once I started to become a teenager, I lost that,
Mhm.
right? Because no one else around me was doing spells,
Mhm.
except for one of my best friends. We like would do silly things, but it's so easy in our lives to lose the magic. And this is why I'm so excited to have you on here because I'm like, girl, I know that you tap others into their magic and remembering their inner wisdom. And can you tell me more or tell us more about Akashic records
Yeah.
and reading? Because I was obsessed with Akashic records years ago. And I'm like, I just want to hear more of this.
Yes. So the Akashic Records is a realm beyond time and space.
Mhm.
I call it going up because it just gives people a visualization to something to connect with, but it's really all around us. And it's also really the quantum field if we work with manifestation. And so I've had Akashic Record readings before I met my mentor. And what she did with me was completely different. She took me on a journey to discover my own guidance and reading and magic. And I felt, and that was the first time I really like visualized something or, went on a journey. And so that really awakened something within me. So now we certify our students in the many different ways of using the Akashic records. So you can do the readings, you can tap into your own or other people or even places and things because everything has a spirit and energy. And you
Mm.
can do activations, you can do healing in the records. We have one student who does a Reiki in the Akashic records, and she swears it's a lot more powerful because we're tapping into the higher dimensional energies. And the
Yes.
way that I take you or myself up to the records and that we teach our students to take people up to the records is also by tapping into your theta brainwave. So it's a
Mm.
brainwave right before you fall asleep where it's like the most creative and the most powerful state of manifestation. And so I love Akashic records. It does everything.
Okay. I love this and I love how you explained it because, like I said, when I was really into Akashic Records years ago, I never myself learned how to read it or open it or anything like that. But the way that you just explained it just simplified it for me because I've actually never heard it compared to the quantum field.
Oh
And that never, and that I can 1000% get on board with.
yeah. Yeah, I, we actually have a deck coming out with Hay House, Akashic Soul Oracle, and
Mm,
so Alex and I create sacred sites inside of the record. So we like to take people to sacred sites in real life and get activated, like Sedona, Mount Shasta. But we also have different sacred sites in the Akashic records for our clients personally or for the collective. And so there's always a fountain that a lot of people see when they go up to the records at first. And so that fountain is used for specific things like healing or making a wish. And
mm.
so so in our deck we have different places that you can visit.
That's amazing. I'm like, okay, this deck,
Yeah.
need it, love it. This is awesome. So tell me how you weave this work into business.
Ooh. So this is the thing. I don't, well, not that I know of, and not that our clients know of. I don't know if anybody really teaches Akashic Records for business, to use Akashic Records as a business resource.
Mhm.
So we had a client who was a medium, right? Mediumship. She's very psychic.
Mhm.
And she came in, got certified in the record. And she's like, oh my gosh, she channels, but this is just a different level. And she goes to Akashic Records almost every day, at least every week, to receive information about her business. Because your business is also alive with the soul. And so you might want something for your business, but in order for your business to thrive and be abundant, they might need something special, that we don't consciously know logically. And because I think, a lot of times we're in our masculine, we have to do this to market, we have to sell,
Yeah.
we have to do this to have a marketable business. Sometimes it's not that. Sometimes it's just the business has to be aligned with you and the clients that are coming in and be able to hold the energy. And you can get all of these questions answered inside the Akashic Records. Your business know what it needs. And also you can, so we always take our clients to their business space. So you have
Mhm.
probably a podcast space, right?
Mhm.
And the first trip is usually like, ooh, what is this? It's so dirty. Like there's no attention to it, right? Because we know
Yeah.
everything is created first in the energetics. So
Mhm.
if it's created first in the energetics, but we're not putting energy into it in the energetics, then it could make the physical world a little bit harder. And so people have to hustle. But if you
Yes.
make the space in the energetics happier and more abundant already,
Mhm.
then, the physical world gets a lot easier. So business can be fun and easy.
Yes. Okay. I'm very excited and lit up right now. And I'm like, ooh, I want to dive into this. Can you tell us a way, like a really simple way for us to start to tap into the Akashic records and into our energy of our business?
Yes. So I do believe that we come in and out of the Akashic records all the time. And
Mhm.
so, just like how we're channeling or tapping into the quantum field, it's a natural thing. And it's just becoming aware that you're doing this. And consciously being able to do it on command is what I teach, but we don't really need any help because we're already doing it. And so it's naturally available for all of us. And I think I probably have some free things coming up or free things. We do a lot of free things come around, and you just really need to do like a Akashic meditation. And then when
Mhm.
you go up, the first time you might not know, but maybe a few times, you just lock into the energy of how you feel when you're there. And so that when you go, when I call it up, so I would really root to the ground, right? Make sure that you're rooted because we're playing with higher dimensions and realms. And so you
Yeah.
want to make sure that you're still connected to the physical and earth. And so that you
Mhm.
can bring back everything you're doing there into your reality. We don't just want to leave it up there, right? And
Yeah.
yeah. And so you make sure that you're like growing roots in your feet, really rooted to the ground. And then you kind of travel up your chakras or the central channel of your spine and you
Mhm.
gently pop out of the top of your head. And I like to put us in like a golden bubble, bringing
Yeah.
all of the awareness up there. And then you just shoot up into the skies. You go as high as you can, passing all of the solar systems, going up,
Mhm.
up. And there's like a white light. And when you step into the white light, you're in the records. You don't need to say a prayer, you don't need to do anything more, but I like to affirm. So I just say, I, my full legal name, has now opened the records. And
Mm,
you don't have to visualize anything, but I do feel like with a beginner, especially, if you give them something to see or do, they believe it more. And so
yeah.
we land in like the Akashic courtyard. There's a build of the Akashic library on your right. There's columns, there's trees, there's that fountain. And so that's an easier way to access the records.
Oh my gosh, I love this. And I love that you teach others how to access the records. Because right now, when you're speaking to me, I'm like, girl, I meant to be in there because I've always wanted to learn how to go deeper.
Yes. You know what it was? It was because for our business program, we were doing it. We're doing the Akashic Records and our client, and when I was helping them create their programs, and they're like, yeah, Akashic Record Journey. I'm like, okay, what are you going to do? And they're like, we don't know. We don't know how. And I was like, then how are you going to do it? Because they loved it so much that we
Mhm.
were teaching them. And so the next round, we're like, okay, let's also certify them
Yeah.
in these modalities that they loved so much.
Yeah. No, that's incredible.
Yeah.
And just because I'm a big proponent of quantum field and quantum physics, and I teach that in my work, and this is almost like this feels even more expansive,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I love, I love, and I'm a very magical spiritual girly, and I know those listening are as well. So this is so fun and incredible. I'm gonna start practicing that technique a little later today when I have some solo time to ground my feet in the earth. Okay, I love this. So let's talk about witchery.
Yes.
And I want to share this because I know for me myself, I just know that I'm a witch. I've always been that way. But I know for quite some time that was hard for me to own and express and accept. And I wanted to hear your insight on those who are like, yeah, I'm definitely a witch. I've always felt like a witch. I would just love to hear your wisdom on those who are like, I'm a witch and I was born a witch and I've been a witch in many, many lifetimes.
Yeah. So I think when I started with the magic, I didn't realize like the witch was the thing. But I watched The Craft and, we did light as a feather, stiff as a board.
Mm.
And it wasn't, I just did magic. I didn't name myself anything, but I did want to be a witch. And when I was coming out with coaching with online business spiritual, I actually was kind of scared to use that word because
Yeah.
I thought not what the public would think, well, kind of, but it was like the community of witches. I was like, am I qualified? Right?
Mhm.
Because I thought you had to be in a certain coven or a certain religion, or you had to do certain things and do certain rituals that were really complicated for me.
Yeah.
Back then, I couldn't even find all of the ritual tools. I was like, what is this? And how do I get it? There was no Amazon, right? Yeah. It was really hard.
Yeah.
And so I thought I had to be those things. But when I was still doing magic, and what I found out when I created more confidence in myself was that a witch, it just means that you're working with magic.
Mm.
And you don't have to be tied to a certain religion or belief because you are magic. We are magic. And it
Yeah.
just means like working with the elements and working with the spirit of things. And so it is a label. If you want to be a witch, you can, or you're a priestess. Right? You're a witch, you're a
Mhm.
priestess, you're an oracle, you're all of these things, and it's
Yep.
unity consciousness. I do have to say though, in the beginning of my journey, it wasn't just like, wow, everything was great. I'm still with him. It's been 19 years. But in the beginning, we were dating, and that's when I started the Reiki. It wasn't even witch. Can you imagine if I told him witch? He wouldn't talk to me. He wouldn't text me if I went to these classes because he thought
Mm.
I was like worshiping the devil. He thought it was a cult or and all these evil things. And I was like,
Yeah.
huh, that's great. But I knew, when you
Yes.
know that feeling. And I was like, no, I gotta do this. And so I kept going. And now he just came around to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that you shared that because I think that's why I had some resistance with using the word witch or like my inner witch because of people's conditioning and
Mhm.
programming around the word and what they thought it meant. And the way that you just explain that, it's like, oh, it gets to be that simple.
Yeah. It does, it does. And it's just having, a devotional practice or a magical practice to yourself in whichever way that you like to do. Like we said a while ago, if it feels good for you, right?
Yes.
You can work with water. You can, I live in the desert, Las Vegas. There is not a lot of water. And
Mhm.
so I work with the plants, the trees. You can work with whatever is available for you.
I love that. That's amazing. So tell us about Wealth Witchery, which arrived
Yeah.
at my door just before we went live
Crazy.
for our podcast.
Yeah. So Wealth Witchery was something that is like a soul book to me
Mhm.
because and now all of you know my story, but my magical path was really focused on money, right?
Mhm.
And magic because that's what I didn't have. And
Yep.
so I did everything to learn how to make more money, how to sustain money, how to grow my money, how to have happy money and love money and make it really magical. And what I found was, society or the elites have been suppressing what the divine feminine, have been
Yeah.
suppressing witches, have been suppressing magic and money, right?
Yes.
We see it in movies where they make like the CEO, the billionaire, a really bad guy. And it's
Yep.
like programming, I guess the muggles or whoever, us, right? Uh,
Mhm.
saying that money is bad, magic is evil. And that's so not true. And they know it's not true. And so I think this right now, this era is the time for us to really break free. We're all awakening even more. And so money and magic goes together and they're just energy and none of it is bad.
Mm. I feel like that was a huge permission slip for a lot of those listening who have that programming and conditioning and encoding of money makes you a bad person. Money makes you become someone different. Money makes you whatever. And then we have all these fears and we get all weird energetically with money,
Yeah.
right? And the way that you just explained that, it's like, money gets to be magical.
Hmm.
And I love this because I always say, which, takes some practice for those rewiring, but I always say money has no power and no control over you.
Hmm.
And so I love this perspective of money is magic because it's like, oh, I'm magic.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I'd love to hear that, like how we can embody the magic of money where it's no longer I'm trying to make money. It's like if
Hmm.
I'm already magic, then I already am money. I'd love to hear your perspective
Yeah. So, and you probably know this, if we want something, if we were like, I want money, I need money, then we're in the state of wanting, and then universe is like, okay, so you always want it, you never have it.
there.
So
Hmm.
instead, we need to have it and be it first before we get that thing in reality. And that's why the visualizations are so important. The embodiment is so important. So you're sending a signal out to the universe like, hey, I have the thing, right? And you're also reprogramming your brain because the brain doesn't know the difference between a visualization and a memory. So if your brain
Hmm.
is like, wow, she does have a lot of money, where is it? It's going to create opportunities or allow you to see opportunities that's going to bring more money to you. And yeah, do you have something to add to that?
So this is what I'm hearing for those who are listening. Okay, this is amazing, but tell me how I can have the money and become it when right now I want it, I have bills to pay, da da da
Yes.
da.
And it's really just to, well, I like to call it reprogramming, right? And so it's really just reprogramming your brain and training your brain to think and be positive. And so in the book I talk about the four realms of manifestation. So there's the mental realm, there's the emotional realm, there's the energetic realm, and the physical realm. And so
Mm.
all of this has to be in alignment and your subconscious and your conscious mind to create
Mhm.
something that you want. Because we could say, I want to be rich. But if you have that subconscious block floating around of saying, well, but if you're rich, you have to work harder. and you don't want to work harder. Or if you're rich, you're going to become evil, right? Like how we're programmed. Then that's going to stop you, because 99% of the time the subconscious wins. And so the mental is really important. Whatever you think is being projected out into your reality, and whatever you're thinking is being sent out into the quantum field, which is the field of possibilities. Anything that you can think of and want, it's already there. And so when we think it, we shoot it out, right? And when we think it, it creates emotions. It creates how we feel. And if we feel happy, we're motivated. We go out and do stuff, right? But if you have negative thoughts in your head that you didn't even know, right? Like I used to say F my life all the time. That was really bad affirmation,
Yep.
right? And if you're saying those things, then you're going to create what? Sadness or depression, and you're not going to want to do things. So mindset is really important. And I manifested a lot of things with my mind, and I used my third eye and my crown chakra a lot. It's very powerful, but it wasn't consistent and it wasn't instant. And so what I found out, right, through over 10 years was there's still the energetic piece. So when I was in a mindset NLP training program, everybody in there, and this is like the beginning of my business, everybody was making $10, $30, $50,000 a month. And I was like, wow, I was very inspired, by the way, but I saw that they couldn't hold it, and I didn't know why. And then it was because their energy couldn't hold it. We all have an energetic container that can hold so much, right? You being the vessel, depending on what work that you've done. The good news is you can expand it, but we are where we are right now if we don't work on it. And what was happening was they were getting the money in and their energy couldn't hold so much, right? And it's kind of like your iPhone. It's like your phone, right? You know how when you take a lot of pictures, like no more memory, you have to delete. Right? It's the same thing. You have to delete stuff in your energy field that no longer serves you. Some things you're aware of, some things you aren't. And so we have to make sure that we always are clearing, and so that we can hold more. And recently I've been playing with I am the vessel, to be able to call in and to be able to hold more money, more clients, more love, more health. Right? Not going after the thing, but affirming that I am the vessel. And so to open up your energy, and you can do this in the Akashic records, you can do this with healing, you can do this with codes and energy work, okay? To open up this energy field so that you can become magnetic, okay? And then there's the emotional realm. And so that's your feelings. Feelings create a frequency around you in the energetic field. And so whatever frequency, whatever emotions you're having is being put out there. And so there are higher level emotions, which are faster frequency. And success, more money, all the things you want is vibrating at a higher frequency. And that's why a lot of coaches tell you to be high vibe, right? That's literally what it means. And it doesn't mean that if you're sad or mad or you're low vibe, it's bad. It just means your body and your soul is letting you know, hey, there's something off here. We need to realign. Okay, it doesn't mean that's bad. And you can be in it for a while if you want to, but get ready to switch out of it, because you don't want to be in it all the time, right? If you have a goal that you want to achieve. And so if you tap into love, if you tap into gratitude, if you tap into fun, for me, it's winning. So when I win, my vibration is really high, and we all have our own personal one. And so if you can tap into that, what happens is it's your heart, right? The magnetism. So your brain shoots out this intention to the quantum field, to the universe, and then your feelings pulls it in. It's that attraction. So you have the electro and the magnetic. So that's electromagnetic field. And so that creates the manifestation coming in. And then the fourth realm is the physical realm. This took me a long, long time to learn, because for many of you who are spiritual and magical, you might not be in your body. You're always astral traveling, you're out of your body a lot. Sometimes it's not by choice. So when I was little, when I wasn't good, when I did, bad things or whatever, I would actually get locked in a bathroom for a very long time. And from there, of course, nobody wants to be locked in the bathroom. So I would unconsciously leave my body, right?
Wow.
And so I would go up. I didn't know where I went, but I discovered this through this voice healing lesson that I had with my coach. And she was like, I can hear you're not in your body. And we found that was the root cause. And so I felt safer not in my body, right?
Yeah.
Escaping the body so we don't have to experience this. But our soul contract here is actually to be in physical form, to experience and learn in the body. And so I had to remember to come back in the body, stay in the body and stay ground. Not just putting your feet, in grass. That is
Right.
grounding and that's receiving grounding energies, but also grounding your spirit and your soul in your body and being really present and being really embodied because your past doesn't matter because it's not here anymore, right? If I tell you to give me the past, it doesn't matter, right? And the future is not here yet. So what really matters is the present moment. This is where you decide your future, right? A lot of people are creating from the past experience, what happened to them, but it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. We can change our future by deciding in the present moment. So using all four realms of manifestation, then this is when you can manifest the more money and more things that you want.
Yes. Oh, I love this because you blend magic and science,
Yeah.
right? Which is amazing.
Yes.
And to me, like people would always separate that, like, oh, it's science and then it's magic, but it's like magic is energy and energy is science. So really, magic is also science. I love it all because to me, that's such a needed component of the magic, the
Mhm.
witch, the science, the quantum field, all of it. That was beautiful. And I know that landed for so many people. And one thing I wanted to ask you, because I know for a lot of us, even who visualize and who meditate, and maybe some of us do practice escapism,
Mhm.
right? So, how would you tell us an easy way to come back into our body in this present moment?
Mm. So my favorite way of coming back and the easiest way is so when you're coming back,
Mhm.
from the Akashic records or your journey, make sure that you're coming through the top of your head through your crown chakra and
Mhm.
then all the way down and then really settling in the root
Okay.
because the root chakra is the more of the physical, the first chakra. It's where safety, right?
Mhm.
And I do have a book coming out, Chakra Witch, later.
Ooh.
Yeah, but that's where safety is at, right? That's where you feel safe. And we can't do anything if we don't feel safe because then we're
Yeah.
always worrying and it's not going to happen. And so you have to bring your vision, you have to bring everything back into the root chakra.
Mhm.
And then what you can do is you can pull up the energies through your feet from the earth to then lock it in and that grounds everything and make sure that you are I like to squeeze my body too, squeeze it, locking in the energy.
Yeah.
And then this is the I get the easiest, but I guess hardest part is now you make decisions from that next level self. You
Mm.
start doing things not how you would do today or yesterday, but you're doing things from if you already have had that thing,
Yeah.
right? So from the next level.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that with us. That feels really good. That's something I'm going to start practicing. And with your book, Wealth Witchery, is there any spell that you would like to share with us?
Yes, I don't know if I put this one in my spell, but I'm going to give you a really powerful, but like the easiest spell in the world.
Beautiful.
So this was actually at a retreat that I was in, and I was selling crystals at that time. This was like in the beginning of my path, and I was like a crystal magic coach.
Love
And
it.
so everybody at the retreat were not magical. Like the people that stayed in my house, maybe except one girl, my really good friend Lotus Sky. We were like the magic ones, and everybody was like not. And they were like, "Tell me about crystals." And so I told them to get well, I actually had a gift for all of them. So I had a
Mhm.
citrine crystal like
Yeah.
this. It doesn't have to be
Mm.
this big, however big you want. And I told them to put it on the things that they make money for. So your
Mm.
phone, your laptop if you're an online entrepreneur, your register, right? If you have like a brick and mortar business. And so two of the girls put it on their phones, and the next morning she's like, I got 10 clients out of nowhere. And the other girl was like, I just closed $15,000 from
I
that.
love it.
And
Mm,
so and it gets even better. So I shared this in a Llewellyn Con presentation,
mhm.
and one of our VIP clients now, she was broke. She was because she got laid off from being a dancer during COVID. And
Mhm.
she said, she tells people I made her go buy the crystals, but I promise I didn't. She said she took her last dollar and went to buy a citrine to put on her phone. And that led her now to be the number one face yoga teacher in Germany, making multiple six figures. Yeah,
Mm,
after working, she was still working with me for it wasn't just
right.
overnight. Yeah. But it wasn't long. It was like 2 to 3 years from
Mhm.
completely broke to number one face yoga in Germany. She went from 5,000 followers to 100,000 followers too.
I
Crazy. It
love
was just
that.
crazy. Yeah, her story. But she just believes, and whatever we tell her, she's like, I'm in.
Yes. Yes. So everyone listening is now going to go out and buy a citrine crystal.
Yes.
Can't even wait. We'll send you pictures. We'll DM you. Oh my
Yes.
God, this is amazing. I
Yes.
love this. Everything that you shared, I'm just like, yes, bringing the
Yeah.
magic back, infusing our inner witch and just our own inner knowing. This was so incredible. I could literally talk to you all day. This
Yeah.
is magic. Tell us where we can find you and how we can work with you.
So you can find me on Instagram, Pamela Unicorn. And usually we run like a free event or something really little, really, really open to the community event once a month. And we have our certification business programs where you can get certified in 8 really powerful modalities, Akashic Records being one of them. We have the Awaken Bliss codes and Reiki Master, which are energetic technologies that you can use to change your life. Like
Mm.
my business partner actually channeled the Awaken Bliss codes. These are codes that, you can draw and send around the world so you don't have to be in person. And it really, and when we first did that with our ritual, like a candle ritual, blew up. We weren't even fully in our business yet together, and we made 23,000 in 2 hours. We don't even know how the money came in. It was crazy, right? And so, yeah, we teach you all the things that we do, basically. So you get all the things that we do certified, and so we have that's the academy. And Alex and I also run spiritual retreats around sacred sites. We just went to Mount Shasta. It was so
Mhm.
powerful. One of our clients had a Kundalini awakening. That's probably
Oh,
another episode. But that
yes,
was, yeah, there's a lot to unpack from that. But if you know, you know. It's like,
yes.
I didn't even have one yet. And that was
Mhm.
epic. And Alex and I also work really closely with the Galactic Federation, Cosmic Energy. So we have our Galactic Star Tarot. It's
Mm.
one of the newer deck that came out with Hay House. And yeah, we work with the star beings and star medicine energy. So a lot with the planets. Um, Everything that we launch is on, my Instagram. You'll see it. We do that.
I love it. This is amazing. Everything that
Yeah.
you just said, I'm like, yes, give it to me. So magical. I will put that in the show notes so those listening
Thank
can
you.
find you. Thank you again, Pamela. This
Yeah,
was everything. I'm so grateful for your magic and for your wisdom
thank
and for
you.
being here with us.
Thank you for having me on, and thank you to your audience for listening.
So good. Yay. If you loved this episode as much as I did, please take a screenshot and tag me on Instagram at @the_badassbabe so I can share you and your incredible body of work to my network and celebrate you. And as a special abundance gift, please give us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. Take a screenshot, send it to me on Instagram, and I'll send you my sexy sales hypnosis to rewire yourself rich in